Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Caitie.
And we're excited that you're here tonight for the first night of GEEKMAS 2022. Are you excited for GEEKMAS?
Hi, welcome to GEEKMAS.
GEEKMAS, you cannot go wrong with GEEKMAS. This year's GEEKMAS is going to be slightly different because we decided, as opposed to last year's GEEKMAS, we were going to light the tree.
I lit it.
We're not going to do that again.
I did it.
The tree's just going to be there. Like, it's just going to work this year, and we won't have to worry about it. Before we get too far in the show, Caitie, what should people do?
Go to geekscorner.live. Maybe not from my Instagram story, but from somewhere else, possibly.
It might work from your Instagram
It might
story.
work
You
from
never
my
know.
Instagram story. That's weird if you're watching my Instagram story while you're watching. Anyway, go to geekscorner.live.
We could always stream it multiple places, I guess. I don't know.
Sure. Have your cat watch us. They might love us.
Yeah.
My cat doesn't.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It's not for everybody. Go to geekscorner.live.
Should we talk about Hamilton?
Which Hamilton? Your Hamilton?
Well, I don't have a Hamilton, but should we talk about Hamiltons?
Yes, we should talk about Hamiltons.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
This is not scripted.
No.
This is not in the show notes. This is
because
not
Geeks
in
Corner
the...
is always scripted.
We have show notes.
We have show notes.
Yeah.
Never scripted. So we have a local.
It's true. I don't know how to do a script.
We have a local no-kill shelter that is fantastic, and it is where I got my Hamilton from.
Yes.
Back in 2016.
So true.
Because my ex's mom was a foster for this adoption agency.
Yes.
So the long and short of it is that
The long and the short.
they always post when they have dogs or cats up for adoption. And to help some of these animals get adopted, they brought in a professional photographer to take animals'
Which
photos.
was brilliant. Loved it.
Yes. It honestly genius.
Except for one.
It was this photographer doing pro bono work, like just making sure that these animals could get adopted before the holidays.
Yeah.
There is
Holidays
this
are here.
one dog
Yes.
that looks a lot like Wendy, if you know her.
Well, it looks like Wendy if she was electrocuted.
Yeah.
Like, she just shoved her paw into an electric outlet and went poof everywhere.
So his name is Hamilton.
Just like and it's where you got your Hamilton.
And it is where I got my Hamilton. His name was not Hamilton when I got him.
Oh, so, okay, that makes more sense.
Because he was named by the foster. He wasn't named by the agency.
Okay.
He was not named Hamilton. He was actually named Dale. Fun fact. They were
I'm
all
glad you renamed him.
Yeah.
He does not look like a Dale.
No, it was a Walking Dead litter. So they all had Walking Dead
okay,
names.
okay.
There was like a Maggie,
Anyway,
a Glenn.
this Hamilton.
He was Dale. The tree is already lit. So yes, he has still not been adopted. My parents went down today to go donate some dog food because whenever they kind of pop up with things that they need or whatever, we try and help out. So we've done like laundry for them in the past. We went to Target last night and bought this dog food for them. And so when they dropped it off, my parents asked about this Hamilton and said, what's his story? How long?
Because he's been a topic of discussion now.
He's been a topic of discussion for a couple months. Like,
At least. I think it's August or September.
it would have been September.
Okay. Yeah.
So they asked about his story, how long he's been there, XYZ. So it turns out that he is off the streets. He has never been adopted. He has been there since September,
Which is very sad.
but he is aggressive towards men and bites.
So is Wendy.
Wendy is aggressive towards everyone and bites everyone.
Particularly towards men.
Wendy has bit me 3 times.
I know, but she was more aggressive towards men. Like,
Which
she
is
warms
funny
up to
because
girls
the
quicker.
only time that I have ever seen Wendy completely be fine with someone right off the bat, a man.
Was that Mikey?
It was Mikey.
Mikey, if you're on, you are the Wendy Whisperer.
You are the Wendy Whisperer. I mean, also you. Wendy didn't try to kill you the first time.
When I first walked in the door, she was freaked out.
That's because someone else picked her up from the shelter, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, we warmed up really quick. I'm an animal person, though.
Yes. So, there is this tale of Hamilton. And hold on, I actually now have to bring up the picture because we have told you guys that...
Far too much. Like, the show hasn't even started yet.
No,
and
but we've told
we're
you
5 minutes
all
in
about
already.
Hamilton. It's fine. We've
Okay.
told you all about Hamilton. This is our show. We can talk about whatever we want.
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna get up because I have a cordless microphone, so I can show you guys.
Thank you, Christy, for the microphones
Thank
that
you,
enables
Christy.
Katie to walk around. And it's not going to be in focus from that far away, but there you go.
You get the gist.
You get the gist.
Like that's
We could have screen shared if we had planned this.
what he looks like. So it looks like also Animal from the Muppets is kind of what I've been saying.
Or Bean Bunny.
He does kind of look like Bean.
He looks more like Bean Bunny now that I'm thinking about it.
Bunny. Oh, now you should get him because then I can just walk around going Bunny.
We call him Bean then.
The Honorable Judge Roy.
The
Bean.
old Bean. Anyway. This is what technology was.
Technology was invented
You're
so
correct.
that we could be here in Southern California, broadcasting to your home, wherever it may be, talking about a dog that you will never meet. Probably.
I mean, we might never meet him for all we know. Like, who
we
knows?
have talked, and we did go as far as walking in the door at the adoption center.
And then we turned around and left because it was awkward.
Well, there was also this thing where, like, they have a cat cafe, and you knew that if I got dragged into the cat cafe...
Oh, that was the thing. I was like, oh, wait, this is trouble.
I would walk out with a cat because...
That is true. All right, so...
kitties.
Anyway, Hamilton needs a home.
All that to say...
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry GEEKMAS, that's right. We do have a new tradition this year, though. A new GEEKMAS tradition. Last year, we had the lighting of the GEEKMAS tree over and over and over again, and we've erased that from everything that possibly could ever exist.
It's a little embarrassing for me.
Our computerized device that would try to start this is gone. We have gotten rid of all of that technology because it didn't work, but this works. So, last year was GEEKMAS tree lighting. This year we thought it would be fun to change things up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So every week we're going to have a GEEKMAS ornament of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be fantastic. So the way this will work is we will find random, don't say where we are on the internet. We're on geekscorner.live.
It's also why I didn't disclose the name of the adoption center.
But,
Never triangulating our location, baby.
We move every week anyway.
It's so exhausting to paint this set every week.
Focusing back to GEEKMAS ornament of the week.
Yes.
We will have random, perhaps terrible ornaments every week. We don't know where they're going to come from. Honestly, we might be taping together some rocks at the beginning of
I got a rock.
a Tuesday. I don't know. We will find out. This will be fun. But this week we do have a GEEKMAS ornament.
It's a good one.
Do you want to talk about where this GEEKMAS ornament came from? Because this one might be the only good one we have the entire season.
Yes. So I'm going to get up again. This is fine. I'm just going to keep walking around this Geeks Corner episode. It's honestly way more fun if I just get up. Look.
It's still going to be out of focus.
I don't care!
We don't have a producer. I do this.
It's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, it's Walt Disney's The Band concert, and it's so that they can see this. I don't care if it's out of focus. It spins! Wow! So that's from our friend Dan. He was helping us out with a very special project. And if you tuned into Geeks Corner Plus last week, you saw. But he is a really kind gentleman. Dan Cunningham at HonuDan on Twitter. Probably on other social medias, but Twitter is my favorite social media
And I feel like that's
platform.
where we see him the most.
It's true.
So every week, we are going to put a new ornament on the GEEKMAS tree. Maybe with a new instrument, we don't know. But Katie loves the melodica so much that I'm going to play the same tune every week. I don't know on what. We'll see. And then Katie gets to put the new GEEKMAS ornament on the tree. So Katie, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm not wearing sweatpants for this. So.
I was trying to hold it until you put it on the tree, but
I was impressed.
you laughed and made me, yeah. There's the GEEKMAS ornament of the week.
I'm trying to wrap it around the branch so that it doesn't go anywhere.
It's a big ornament.
It's got batteries.
Yeah, it's very cool. We did not get the new Lake Buena Vista ornament this year. We got this ornament. That's all we've gotten so far this year. Anyway, there is our first GEEKMAS ornament of the week. We will be doing this all through the month of December. Well, up till Christmas, GEEKMAS, all of that jazz.
And just a reminder, our Christmas episode will be December 13th. So,
Yeah.
mark your calendars, kiddos. Hour-long episode, baby.
2 weeks from tonight. Is that right? 3 weeks from tonight? Yeah. 2 weeks from tonight. Something like that.
I just realized I posted that schedule yesterday.
There you go.
Hope I'm not opening the next day.
Me too. All right, let's move on into the Week in Geek. First off, Bob Iger opened a new chapter of the Walt Disney Company and his career with a town hall meeting on Monday morning at the Walt Disney Studios. He returned. People were happy. He answered questions. There were a few things I thought that were interesting out of it. One is that they're going to focus on creativity again. Very good thing. Two, they are going to be focusing on making their streaming profitable. Also very good thing. Three, they're going to do what's right, not what's politically expedient. Also a very good thing. And four, he wants to be around the office and people to be around the office or the studios as well, because he thinks creativity thrives when we're together. And there's other things that he said throughout the course of his town hall meeting, which I thought was really great. But a lot of it was I just got here and ask me again later kind of a thing. But what did you think of all of this as it keeps moving forward?
I think that everything that he said feels like the Walt Disney Company. And that's what matters to me.
Yep.
Like, at its core. Not just like, oh, this is the Walt Disney Company as I know it now. This is the Walt Disney Company at its core values, what it is supposed to be doing. So from that aspect, I really, really enjoy it. I will say the more I kind of watch Bob Iger, him and Howard Schultz are incredibly similar human beings.
Yet completely different.
Yet completely different.
Personality-wise, completely different.
I agree. But what specifically struck me is that when Bob Iger made the joke of the fact that his wife encouraged him to go back to Disney so that he would not run for president, Howard Schultz famously wanted to run for president. So, and they both
Is that the next ticket, 2024? Schultz and Iger? Iger and Schultz? I don't know which way that would go.
I would vote for it, but
who knows? It could be interesting.
But I think that both of them have this passion for kind of the company that they have fostered. I mean, Howard, obviously, his relationship with Starbucks is very, very different than Iger's relationship with Disney. But I just think it's so fascinating that they come in and they, like, see the company in distress, and they're like, let me fix it. I know the pathway for this.
Yep.
And I just think that that is something incredibly special that only Bob Iger could do. I will say, it was also very fascinating to see Michael Eisner chime in on all of that today.
Yes. Which I have, I'm glad that he did that, but I do think you should take note that he did the same, 11 months ago for Bob Chapek. Like, the thing I love about Eisner is he's whoever is there. He's kind of the loyal, he's kind of like Trusty in Lady and the Tramp, where no matter what happens, he's going to be rooting on Disney and hoping it succeeds and wishing the best for it. And I actually think the world needs more of that, because I think if we were trying to help people succeed, that would change the world massively.
I think the thing about Michael Eisner is that he genuinely means that. It's like he genuinely wants the company to succeed. This is the man that has Mickey Mouse watches and Mickey Mouse ties and was excited to do commercials with Mickey Mouse. Like, he genuinely...
Well, and talked about how much he loved doing the opening segments for, What a World of Disney and all that stuff. Yeah.
So he genuinely loves the company, and I think that, for those of you that know me, DCA 1.0 is my baby. But I think that commercial with him and Mickey Mouse is one of the most special, it's him, and ends with him and Mickey walking into the California letters, and he says, pal, I think this is the start of a beautiful partnership. And that just makes me so happy every time, because that just feels like Michael Eisner.
I see the question that 2 years is enough time to turn things around or enough time to prepare a successor. A little bit of both. I think I would not be surprised if Iger is around for 3 years, not 2 years. Just as things go, because he was supposed to originally retire, if I recall, in 2012, and we knew how long he stayed around. I think it's going to be hard if it's not the absolute right person, and even with the right person, it has to be somebody that's okay with Iger speaking into things in the future and throwing his opinion out and kind of being the revered statesman, retired statesman, because I just think I think what we've seen and heard over the last year is that Iger was constantly talking to department heads anyway, even though he wasn't at the company. Like, he's very invested in the future of the Walt Disney Company. So I don't know if it's enough time. I think it'll be very interesting. Like, to me, the next 2 years will be interesting. The next 3 months will be even more interesting, because I think the changes we see in the structure of the company are going to give us a clue as to where it's going in the future and who will be leading it. And so if you were to see, like, I think if you were to see something weird happen, like Josh D'Amaro ends up as CFO, that would say to me he's in contention, or he ends up running some sort of media. Like, if he ends up running another major media or another major department at the Walt Disney Company, I think that says he's in contention. Same with Dana Walden. If they were to bring back Peter Rice, who was fired unceremoniously earlier this year, I think if he comes back in, my first thought is he's the one. Like, he's not going to come back unless he's getting the job. So those are kind of the three that I'm looking at the moment. It could be, you never know. Like, it could totally, maybe a Tom Staggs or Kevin Meyer gets pulled back in also,
And their pictures on
which are
Pandora
very
go
possible.
back. I think the other thing that's important to note here, and again, I'm going to talk about Howard Schultz, because if I know two things, it's Disney and Starbucks. Howard Schultz has only been back for 8 months?
Yeah.
Something like that. 7.5 months. On Sunday, it'll officially be 8 months, because he came back on April 4th. And in my opinion, you can speak from the consumer opinion, I think he's made a considerable difference.
Well, I think you could say Iger's made a difference in the 1 week he's been back, just
agree.
because you've seen cast morale has changed, you've seen guest morale change, you've seen, there's an article that Len Testa did for New York Times where he was talking about how everything was about numbers for Bob Chapek, and it was about consumers, not guests. And Bob Iger is very much about the guests and the guest experience. And there's reports of him being alarmed at the price and the guest experience right now. And I think even just having that thought process of, hey, guests are important, you can get away with a lot of stuff if you treat people nice. And if people feel valued and they feel important, maybe prices don't change for day tickets and annual passes in all their forms around the world. But maybe you see some changes to Genie Plus. Maybe you see some changes to the reservation system, and then you can still get away with some stuff. But because you're treating people kindly and you're treating them as true guests, and they're getting a guest experience, which maybe they haven't been getting to the same level, I think just a change of leadership and vision really makes a huge difference, because words matter at the end of the day.
Well, and this is something that we were actually just talking about earlier. Because in some like private company social medias, there are pictures of our CEO visiting New York groceries, potentially the new Empire State Building Reserve. And in all those photos, he just seems like such a genuinely kind person, enjoying people. And when I say our, I say Starbucks. Sorry, I assume everyone knows who I work for. And that's what matters, and that's what we were talking about, and that's kind of why Howard Schultz took over Starbucks again, was he felt that we had gotten too far away from what our core was, and we have always said that we are in the people business serving coffee, not the coffee business serving people.
Yep.
But I think that it's, the more I think about it, it's a very, very similar thing. Starbucks' last CEO was originally the CFO, more of a numbers guy, kind of similar to Bob Chapek in that regard, of numbers guy, numbers driven, ends up in the
Well, it
CEO
even happened to Apple
position.
too, and you bring back Steve Jobs,
Yeah.
and I think at the end of the day, numbers guys often make short-term gains.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have that person that's really looking into the customer,
And the
guest,
long-term.
whatever you want to call, that's a long-term investment, because it's a relational investment as
Yeah.
opposed to a, hey, I got your quick buck that charged you $1 million or whatever that should have been 100.
Yeah.
But I think when you invest in that relationship between a company or a leader and either its people or its cast or employees, that's how you make these long-term things happen, and you really you get the lifetime employees, and you also get the lifetime consumers as well. And that's, I think, where you've got a lot of people in the last 2 years really walking away from that emotional bank account that has been over withdrawn by being called consumers, by being called unfavorables, all of these things where it's just like, oh, well, you just want my money. I don't actually matter. Whereas for years, I mean, this is why Josh D'Amaro is so popular, is you matter when you're talking to him. In fact, you're the only person that matters when you're talking to him.
He's very good at that.
And he looks you in the eye, he listens to you, he connects with you, and
you could say something horrendous to him. I don't recommend that you do, because
Please
that
don't.
would be very, very
Please
inconsiderate. But you could say that, and he would genuinely apologize and say, "I am so sorry that this is your," and like,
very possible.
you
yeah.
feel very heard.
But Tom Staggs used to do the same, I think, from what I recall of him as well. He was very into people and connecting with them. So I think that needs to be the future of the Walt Disney Company as they're moving forward. And hopefully that is who they end up with. And we will see a good next chapter after this current chapter with Bob Iger.
Yeah.
All right. We have a new trailer out. It's for Night at the Museum. I don't know how to say his name. Kahmunrah Rises Again. We've watched the trailer. I have watched all the movies.
Yeah.
Katie has seen none of them.
None of them.
Which is great because it gives two very different perspectives on this trailer. Let's start with you. What did you think of this trailer, not knowing anything about this franchise?
I think it looks really fun, and I like it a whole lot. The only thing that I had to say was, that's not Robin Williams, but how would they do that? So, you know, I think the whole thing looks really fun, really cute. It kind of seems like a sit down and enjoy it with the family type of thing.
Totally.
Grab your popcorn, grab your snacks. There's obviously some things I recognize because I was a middle schooler and high schooler when these movies came out. So Dum Dum Give Me Gum Gum obviously was what everybody was saying when you were 13 years old and thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
Oh.
So I recognized a lot of those like figures, obviously. Overall, I think it's super cute. Like, I came into this knowing that knowing that a lot of people are saying very negative things.
Which I don't get.
This. I just think it's cute, man. And like, maybe this is because I don't take things super seriously. Because I just don't.
Well, and I agree. It was a little bit weird because none of the voices line up with what you see in the movies. But even the animation didn't really line up with what you see. Like, some of them did. But it was a little bit different. And but it's fun. I think it's going to be a fun ride. And other than the voices not matching up, which I think we'll forget in the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, it looks like it's going to be funny. It looks like it's original. It looks like it's also going to kind of connect with the feel and the spirit of the original franchise. And I kind of hope it does well because just watching the trailer, I was like, there's some really funny moments in there.
Yeah.
And if those aren't the only funny moments in the film, which sometimes they do, I think you could look for some really fun stuff with this new character, the son, taking on the reins of being the night security guard, and who knows what can come out of that. But I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I think it's really cute.
I do too.
I think that, here's my controversial opinion.
Da-da-da-da.
If you watched that trailer and you hated it and you think it's ruining the Night at the Museum movies, I have a very simple solution, and that is don't watch it.
Yep. And I will take it a step further. Don't ruin it for the people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine to not like things.
If it's not hurting people, just let them enjoy stuff. If it's hurting people, then don't let people enjoy it.
You have to wonder how much the world would change if people followed Grandma's advice. If you don't have something nice, don't say it at all.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, we don't always play by those rules either, but...
it's okay to have opinions.
Which we try. Yeah.
I think it's okay to have opinions. I don't think it's okay to attack people that are enjoying something.
Yep. Especially in fandoms.
Yeah.
Yep. Which we have a thing coming up that will be more about that in the future, but not for tonight. This last week we went up to Norco because that's the exciting place to go during the holidays. But it turns out it is because Illuminate Silverlakes is now open in Norco at it's at a horse place, right?
Yeah, it's at an equestrian center.
It's at an equestrian center.
Well, it's like an equestrian and sports center.
Okay. And we went up there for a media preview. It was a lot of fun. We got to see a bunch of Christmas lights, see some snow, see some entertainment, see Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. But the big thing I will take away from it is it's kind of got that old school family farm, like, hey, let's all go together. The whole town's going to show up. And it was a lot of fun, and I just wanted more snow, but that was my own problem. Every time I walked away, it'd start snowing again. And I'm like, oh, it's on the other side of the lake. And we go back and it'd be done. And so it was just kind of one of those bad.
It's like, I'm going to speak to my generation for a second. It's like that episode of SpongeBob where he goes to Glove World and then he can't catch a bus. And every time he turns around, the bus is there and then it's gone. Yeah, that was Mr. Daps in the snow.
We got it once, though.
We got it once.
And then it was going out into the field next door.
Yeah. So it was really, really fun. Honestly, every time I have thought back on this event, I've just thought about how much fun we were having.
And the lights are really pretty. Like, it's great if you're looking for Instagram or family photos. You can get a photo with Santa.
Yeah, and we had a great time. There's some food, there's some hot cocoa, there's some snacks, there's some stalls. But what hit it out of the park for me was the lights.
Yep.
There's a kind of a trail that goes around.
Well, and the carolers were cool too.
I loved the carolers.
Yep.
There's a trail that goes around a body of water that's all just lights and photo ops and all these things. It's really, really fun.
Yep.
I really liked it. But bundle up.
And you have till the end of the month.
It's cold.
End of next month, sorry.
It's very cold there.
Yes.
Like, literally, I was in a beanie and a scarf that I put over my head and a turtleneck and a shirt and a jacket and leggings and pants and thick socks and shoes, and I still got chilly.
There you go.
So, but I'm also a cold girl, so take that into consideration.
Other things that were fun that came out this last week were the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which we have watched, we have reviewed, and we have loved. Is that fair?
Yeah.
It is very fun. It keeps the spirit of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It also is a bit wacky, which you would expect from something like
Kidnap
that.
Kevin Bacon.
Honestly, that's the whole thing.
You just gotta kidnap Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. It's one I think that we'll watch year after year too, don't you?
100%.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed that. And I don't know, like, I didn't have any real complaints about it. It was kind of one of those things, like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Some people might complain that, like, oh, the main Guardians aren't in it that much. I preferred that it was Drax and Mantis.
It was nice to get to see them together, and they were funny.
Because they're such a funny duo.
They're a very unbalanced duo.
But it's funny because they're both very straightforward and literal in the things that you say, but in very different manners.
Yep.
So I thought it was a great dynamic. I loved it. My favorite scene was the club scene. Specifically when Mantis is on a curb wearing sunglasses at the end. She's like, I can't believe none of my homies had a lead on Kevin Bacon. I think it's one of my favorite lines in the whole thing. So.
I liked the obsession with the candy cane and the lawn ornament. I was just like, that was pretty funny.
Really good.
There was a lot that was very good. Definitely worth watching. Also worth watching is, I actually do think there is going to be some connections to Volume 3.
Definitely.
Especially the reveal at the end of the special.
Yeah.
Another special that is fun that arrived on Disney Plus this weekend was Mickey Saves Christmas. Actually, it arrived on Monday, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was on ABC, Freeform, Disney Channel, all those things on Sunday night. And Mickey Saves Christmas, Pluto messes up Christmas, so Mickey and the gang help Santa and Mrs. Claus save the day for the local town. And they learn, yes, it is very cute. It's not quite Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but it's that direction.
It's really sweet. And honestly, the special is 22 minutes, so there's kind of no excuse to not watch it.
Yep.
It's 22 minutes. It's pure fun. I have to say, Caitlin Robrock does an amazing job as Minnie Mouse. She's fantastic. She's very, very close to what Rusi could do, while also adding her own personality and style to Minnie Mouse. And that was kind of my biggest takeaway, was I haven't watched Mickey's Mixed Up Adventures, if I just said that right. So I haven't seen much of her there. So this was my first project that I've seen her on. So it was really fun to see Brett, to see Caitlin, to see the whole gang. Like, I loved it. It gave me the warm fuzzies. Made me
And that's really
happy.
what it is. It's a very cute, simple show, and Brock and Cameron were great
Yes.
as Santa and Mrs. Claus, and at the end of the day, you feel great about the whole thing having watched it, and definitely worth watching with the family and enjoying together with
And
everyone.
I think that's the biggest thing, is it's kind of again, it's not a Rudolph, it's not a Frosty, but you will walk away with those same warm fuzzies that you feel from those movies.
Yeah. And maybe it will be a Frosty or Rudolph in another 5, 10, 15 years, because these things have had times to develop and build that that depth. All right, it is now Geeks Corner Plus. If you have any questions or statements you'd like to see us react to, we are going to be like Bob Iger, except for he only spent 5 minutes leading up to his Q&A, and we spent 30.
Don't ask us about reservations. We'll say Josh tomorrow has to look at them, and we have to research them.
That's funny, though.
That was one of my favorite moments of the town hall.
That was like, here's this big ball of reservations. Here you go, Josh.
Yeah, which I will say, in my personal opinion, that is what empowering leadership looks like.
Yes.
Because that is not, oh, I'm your boss, I'm going to fix this thing. That is this is your responsibility. I'm going to empower you to fix it, and I will be here to help you with any support you need. I thought that that's what that looked like. I know some people were like, oh, ha, 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 he played it off on someone else. Like, no, I think that
It's a bit of both.
I mean, think that he was empowering someone.
He was empowering, but he was also, I think, being very wise as a leader to not take on something that, one, he's not responsible for. Maybe he was, for all we know. Who knows? You know, I don't know how far back the reservation thing goes. I don't know. But I think it was a smart, empowering move, and it was also a not taking on something that wasn't his anyway.
And he already has so much on his plate.
Well, and there's going to be enough uncomfortable choices he has to make in the next few months, and why use up that political capital? Yeah. I think it was a very good political move too.
I have a question.
There.
No, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
For that. Mr. Iger, as CEO of the Walt Disney Company, how will you bring back the People Mover?
I don't think that was asked, actually, was it?
It was not.
That's surprising.
That's why I'm.
That's because it wasn't a annual meeting.
Annual meeting.
A shareholder
this is
meeting.
Me asking the question: how will you bring back the People Mover?
I'm not Mr. Iger, so I can't help you. I have to talk to him. That's a Josh tomorrow question, really, at the end of the day, anyway, because he's in charge of Parks and Resorts. But I do see in the chat, will Daps Magic merge with Apple Inc.? No, I don't think we want them.
We were too expensive.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, they couldn't buy us.
And we will not be merging with Starbucks. We won't be merging with anybody. I would be shocked if Daps Magic merged.
Could we get sponsored by Starbucks, though?
That'd be fun. I don't mind sponsorships. That would be very cool.
Starbucks. We kind of are sponsored by Starbucks.
Kind of, but very, very loosely, but not really.
Sponsored by Starbucks?
Sort of. I don't know.
This broadcast runs on lattes.
That's not. Well, I don't drink lattes, Americanos.
You drink Americanos. You drink lattes sometimes.
Very rarely.
But I will never forget the time that Mr. Kelly Unruh, my old store manager, may he rest in peace. He's not dead, just dead to me. I'm kidding. I love him. He said, how many lattes did Katie have to make to buy her new iPhone? And I think that's one of the funniest things.
That's Kelly a good question. All right, what shades of the Muppet Color Pop palette are you wearing, Katie?
I don't know the names, but all of my eyes are the Color Pop. So it's the pink, the dark brown, and then the glitter, which I think is something about snow. Don't laugh at me. My lips are Waka Waka.
There you go.
So it's the brown of the lip. And also on my cheeks, I'm wearing the Miss Piggy glitter, which I think is called Kissy Kissy.
Of course it is.
Kissy Kissy!
There you go.
Muppets makeup collection, 10 out of 10. I buy all of ColourPop's collabs that they do. So I have the Star Wars collab that I bought right before Star Wars Celebration. And now I have the entire Muppets collection. I really want to buy the entire Small World collection because I think it's really cute. ColourPop makes high quality makeup. Not super expensive. 10 out of 10.
Cool. What is the status on Mr. Daps' coffee stash for the holiday season?
Do you want me to answer this?
Sure.
Because I have actually a really funny backstory about your coffee stash.
Sure.
So.
Answer it shortly, though.
Starbucks changed all the bag designs, and I was trying to get the old bag designs out of my store, so I kept marking out coffee every single week to give to Mr. Daps, and he has so much. Normally I mark out coffee like once a week for him. I marked out the coffee every week for like 6 weeks.
Usually it's once a month, you mean?
Did I say once a week?
Yeah.
I meant once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Man's got a lot of coffee right now. I haven't even given you, like, I haven't been able to mark out the Christmas stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably still going to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't mark out Thanksgiving blend. I couldn't mark out Christmas blend because I was like, he has too much coffee. Anyway, that's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is true. All right, we have one other thing that will be happening in the coming days. In fact, if you are a member of our Patreon, not only will you get to see a video tour that we'll probably do this multiple times throughout the holiday season, but of our GEEKMAS tree and some of the set decorations around that you may not see otherwise.
There's some hidden ornaments.
We're going to film that right after this. Yes, there's hidden ornaments and other decorations. We are also starting up a new podcast in the new year, and we are going to be asking for our patrons creative advice in the coming days, and we will be asking for, we'll be asking for more creative advice on Patreon for multiple things in the near future. And Katie's playing with fire, so that's
They
good.
only asked if there's flames.
There is. We got given this a year ago, and I finally decided we should start burning them.
It's a behind the
we
attraction
have
candle.
3 of these.
This is Jungle Cruise.
We have Jungle Cruise, we have the Castle, and I think Small World.
So Jungle Cruise smells like floral, fresh, earthy, and exotic.
There you go. But we will be having a lot going on Patreon in regards to the future of this podcast, and also some other stuff that we have coming up as well. So you can head on over there and check it out and be part of the creative process for Daps Magic.
I will say, not to be biased, the podcast is going to be really cool.
It is.
And I'm like not affiliated with it. I'm not part of the production team. I'm not part of the on-air talent, any of that. What? I'm not.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I wholeheartedly think this is a really cool thing, and I personally want to listen to this. So you should get on the Patreon, get involved with it. I will be there. I'm sometimes commenting on the Patreon, so if you want to see me say dumb things,
do it.
Because I do. It's fun.
And we have a lot of fun. All right, Katie, what should people do?
Go to dapsmagic.com. Check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens. From there, you could find our Patreon, where you can find out about the new podcast, and you can see our set, and you can pretend that you're hanging out with us if you want to. If
You are
not-
hanging out virtually.
If not, you don't have to pretend that. It's okay if you have your own friends.
That is true. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will have, hopefully, weather providing candlelight videos this weekend, as we do every year. You won't want to miss any of those. I've also got some videos I'll be posting in the next probably 24 to 48 hours from Walt Disney World, where Roger will be flying back tomorrow, but he has filmed some stuff from Epcot. I believe all of it is from Epcot. Nope, one is from Disney's Hollywood Studios. You won't want to miss any of that either, so make sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel. But that is all the time we have for you this week. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we will see you around the corner.
Bye.